There comes a moment in your life when the excuses fade, the fear quiets, and the dream speaks louder than ever before. That moment is now. You've been gifted with something powerful, greatness, but here's the question: will you unlock it or let it die inside you? Today, we're going to find out. I want to ask you to think about your goals and dreams in 3 areas. Number 1, what's some personal goal that you have for someone that you love? My first major goal was to buy my mother a home. That's what I wanted to do. I remember walking around these big, beautiful mansions before catching the bus going back to Liberty City and Overtown in Miami. I said, "Mama." She said, "What is it, Lizzie?" "When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this." Let me ask, is there somebody that you'd like to do something for that's personal to you? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I want you to think about that. I'm going to share with you some strategies on how you can make that happen. Next thing is, I want you to think about your financial freedom number. That number, when you reach it, when you earn that amount of money, you will feel a sense of relief. It will take a lot of stress out of your life. It will give you more time for yourself and for your family. Think about what that number is. If you wrote it down or if you're thinking about it, I want you to multiply it 100 times. And the reason that I want you to do that is, I have found in my own life that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they do what I did for the first part of my life: aim too low and hit. Then I want you to think about your social contribution. I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world that allows us to live a life of contribution. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. One of the goals I have is to reduce the number of women who die from breast cancer. My mother was a 2-time breast cancer conqueror. One of the goals I have, every time I get on stage, I tell men that I was diagnosed 15 years ago with prostate cancer, given a 2 to 3 year prognosis. One of the things I believe doctors should never do is tell someone they're terminally ill. What they should say is, "My ability to help you has terminated." So I encourage men to get their PSA, which stands for prostate-specific antigen, and the digital rectal examination. And I'll be glad when they can check our prostate by looking in our ears. Can you feel a brother up in here? I was at this medical convention. A friend of mine said, "Hey Les, let me give you a free rectal." I said, "No buddy, you too motivated, homie. Don't roll like that." I was in Florida hospital and a guy came in, new doctor, didn't say hello, good morning, anything. He just goes, "Get some gloves and some petroleum jelly." I said, "Hey buddy, this is our first date. You got to bring me some potato chips, some M&Ms and peanuts. We got to sit down and talk. I got to get relaxed. What's your mom's name? I can't believe I'm telling y'all this. I'm turning red, but y'all can't see it. Oh my God, one of the goals I have is to train. My gifting is in the area of helping you to discover your power voice. How to become a powerful presenter. That's what multi-level marketing does. The money is in the front of the room. The money is in on-ones, small groups, on the telephone. Your ability to present yourself. A gentleman changed my life. Mr. Leroy Washington. He's in his 90s now, blind from glaucoma. I'll never forget the first day we met. I went into his class. He said, "Young man, go to the board and work this problem out for us." I said, "Oh, I can't do that, sir." He said, "Why not?" I said, "I'm not one of your students." He said, "Look at me." "Yes, sir." "Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow." I said, "I can't do that, sir." And the other students started laughing, saying, "He's Leslie, he's DT, he's got a twin brother. His twin brother Wesley is smart. He said, "What does Didi stand for? He's the dumb twin." And many of the kids laughed just like some of you did. And I said, "I am, sir." And he came from behind his desk and looked at me. He said, "Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." That was a turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated, because he looked at me with the eyes of someone who said, "Look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be." I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left. Look them in the eyes and say, "You have something special." Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have something special. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you based on my own experience. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. Just the fact that you showed up, the fact that you said yes to this industry, it says a lot about you. You're uncommon because it means you have a sense of taking responsibility for your own life. George Bernard Shaw said the people who make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You've experienced setbacks and disappointments like everybody else in the economy, but you're operating out of the thinking of one Elsie Robinson, who said, "Things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that really count are the things that happen in you." You have something special. For some of you, it was a struggle to get here. You couldn't afford to be here, but there's something in you that said, "I can't afford not to be here." You have something special. You are uncommon. One great American said, "I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon, if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I don't wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenge of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand direct, proud, and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, 'This I have done.' That's what it means to be a part of multi-level marketing, an uncommon desire to live your dream and control your destiny. There's something in you that says you're not sitting back waiting to see what politicians will do for you. There's something in you that says, "I'm not going to focus on the general economy. I'm going to focus on my personal economy." There's something in you that says, "The most dependable hand in the world is the one at the end of your own wrist." There's something in you that says, "Always strive to get on top in life, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded." You are different. You have greatness within you. Life will be hard, but if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. Come on now, that's strong. If you do what is easy, complain about your situation, your circumstances. If you do what is easy, stand around and be a volunteer victim like everybody else. Surrender and give up on your dreams. Become depressed and bitter and angry. Anybody can do that. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, keep coming back again and again and again. If you do what is hard, approaching strangers, talking to people in shopping malls, get up dressed every day, going out prospecting, knowing some way, somehow, with a spirit of expectation. Somebody's out here looking for an opportunity. You can go outside right now and see some pigeons, but you're out hunting for eagles, and they're not common, And if you do that over and over and over again, somebody's going to show up. Somebody's going to say, I'm the one. Dr. Thurman, I love him so much. What a great writer. He said there's something in each and every one of you that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it all of your life, your days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. And I submit to you that you invested the time and money to go to the airport, to fly across the country. I suggest to you, some of you drove here, I suggest to you, you showed up because you said, I'm going to pull my own strings, I'm going to control my own life, nobody will ever pull my strings again. One of the things about you, Les, is that your life is such an example of what's possible. Everybody, I want you just to picture this about this beautiful man. He's born. His mother ends up giving him to adoption. He and his brother, they live in these conditions. He's 10 years old. His mother has to go away for a while. He's got to support the family. He's had all these incidents. He had to observe up close, including when his mother was cleaning houses, and this woman claps her hands because she's got to know when her mother's in her room, because she's going to steal something, which his mother would never do. This man goes on to influence millions, I mean literally millions of people's lives, and then, this is what's great about all of us making our dreams come true. When you make your dreams come true, the dreams of other people and dreams you can't picture also come true. Because then he influences this goofy dude, me 20, something years old working in an orphanage, and it inspires me to change my life. So your life is such an example. And what's interesting to me, Les, is it was mainly tied to Mom, meaning you wanted to do something great for your mother all your life, and that was bigger, I think, than any obstacle that got in your way. I'd like you to share this with people because I think most people don't understand the power of having something big you're going after that means more to you than the pain you're going to have to go through in order to get it. I don't think enough people set huge, big goals that are from the heart. Don't you agree? Yes, you said that. I was listening to you last night. Dexter Yager, as you know from Amway, he said, if the dream is big enough, the odds don't matter. So when you say dream big, that's major. There's power in pursuit. Because as Jim Rohn said, it's not the accomplishment of the goal that matters. It's what you become in pursuit of the dream. In the process, because when you have a big dream, it will introduce you to a part of yourself that you don't know right now, that you will never discover in your comfort zone. Because in order to achieve that dream, you've got to die to who you are now. I must die daily. You must die to who you are now to give birth to who you are to become. I believe that all of us have stories of greatness in us. We all have stories of greatness within us. In the beginning was the Word. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. When shall the kingdom of God come? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. When shall it come? The kingdom of God cometh not by observation. They shall say, it is neither lo there nor lo here. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you, and that kingdom is voice activated. So when you speak, people who are in a dark place, you will bring them out into the light. When you speak, somebody's got a gun to their head. When you speak, they'll realize life is God's gift to me, and how I live my life is my gift to God. When you speaks, someone who's depressed and feeling anxious will remember, be anxious for nothing. I'll keep thee in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. So that's the power that you bring, and all the products that you have on you too, by mean, how ironic. They said coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. I've been so marinated listening to your stuff, and then you've been listening to me. Come on, look at God, what a mighty God we serve. Come on, you can't make this stuff up. It's like my honor to think that you're listening to my stuff. You guys, just get what I started. I told you all, you just have this treasure. It's like you never want to stop hearing from Les. He's just remarkable. And the way you pull things and download them from all these places is just, it's mind-blowing. I wish I were that great. You are the messenger, and you are the message. That's major. You've got people who are speaking out here that have been hijacked with speaking to sell. We sell people on their greatness. We sell people on the things that they need to do now. The methods, the techniques, the strategy. To create the next greatest version of themselves. And when we do that, we know that when we make that kind of impact, we're in the place of what Leo Tolstoy, the Russian author, said. What is the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone and destroyed when I'm gone? And the people that listen to your program and their mind and their vision has been expanded. You give them a vision of themselves beyond the adversities of what they're experiencing in this place where we are right now, and help them begin to live their life from a place of optimism that they're going to impact other people, and those people are going to impact other people. And this work that you've chosen, as much as you've chosen this, you were chosen for this. And this work will not be undone. You're going to impact generations yet unborn. How many of you know that if you had your life to live over again, you could do more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands, please. Now that proves a point, that what we do and what we accomplish in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us. So I want you to think about some goals that you'd like to achieve, and I'd like for you to break them up into 3 categories. A personal goal you'd like to achieve, a career or business goal you'd like to achieve, a social contribution or impact you'd like to make with your life. It was Horace Mann who said, "We should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind." I believe we live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to leave our mark, to make a statement with our lives. And as you think about these goals, whatever those goals are, I want you to dramatically increase those goals. And I want to warn you, don't think about how you're going to do it. How is none of your business. The most important thing is to just increase those goals dramatically. I've found that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. And many don't aim at all, so raise the bar for yourself. Don't ask how you're going to do it. I'll never forget when I decided that I wanted to become a motivational speaker. I saw the late Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and my heart said, I can do that. But my mind asked the question, how? For over 14 years, I would go see Zig Ziglar, Dr. Peale, Jim Rohn, different speakers, and I'd be in the audience and my heart would pounce and say, you can do that, Les. And when I would leave, my mind said, how you going to do it? I wasted 14 years. How many of you ever procrastinated? Raise your hand, please. So as you begin to think about your goals, the most important thing is, and write this down, commit yourself. See, once you commit yourself, the how will come. The way will come. Once you commit yourself, you will figure it out. And if you're going in the wrong direction, all you have to do is turn around and go in the other direction. You will figure it out. You want to begin to challenge yourself. You want to stretch yourself because you really don't know what you can't do. 500 companies started talking about doing more with less. My mother been doing that for a long time. It's amazing what you can do, but who would have thought? Anybody looking in on this kid and these 7 children, who would have thought? And I look at you, I say you have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. No one could have convinced me that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. You know, the easiest thing I do every year is go into a sales organization and dramatically increase their sales, or go into a prison and enable prisoners to see themselves differently and teach them the methods and techniques of how to plug into the system, or motivate young people to begin to see how they can have a vision of themselves in the future. That's the easiest thing I do. Or train a speaker to help them to leverage their experience as a speaker and say, look, speaking is a projection of who you are, not who you think you ought to be, and come with power from a platform. That's the easiest thing I've ever done. Let me share with you the most difficult thing I've ever done. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I can do what I'm now doing. No one could have convinced me. Just given my circumstances, I earn millions of dollars every year. No one could have convinced me. If both my parents came up here right now, I would not know either one. No one could have convinced me. Being labeled educable mentally retarded, an abandoned building on Floyd and Liberty City, poor section of Miami, Florida, failing twice in school, no college training, never worked for a major corporation. I did not know how I can do what I'm doing right now. Never forget Mike Williams, my mentor. I think a lot of people fail in life because of the fact that they need some mentoring, they need some coaching. Repeat after me, please. You need some coaching. Yeah, see, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. I remember Mike saying, Les, you can do this. Mike, how, man, wait a minute, Mike, how much? How much am I going to be able to charge? Les, well, you could start out at $1,000 an hour. How, Mike? I don't make that working for 2 weeks. Come on, Mike. Mike, man, I appreciate your belief in me. Mike, look. Mike, I work for the Miami Sanitation Department, man. I've been a garbage collector. You know, I've done door-to-door sales. That was great. And you know, I'm here as a disc jockey. That's good, Mike. But Mike, I don't think I can do that. Les, you can. But Mike, I don't have any credentials. I've never written any book, anything, man. I'm not rich. How can I teach somebody to do something I've never done? But Les, why don't you just test yourself? Why don't you stretch? Les, come on, man. Mike, I don't know. And here's something I realize. Write this down. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. I respect Mike Williams. Here, this young man, he saw something in me that I didn't see. A strong analytical mind. I looked at him. I always respected his thinking. And he looked at me and he made me feel special. And I said, okay, Mike. And I just kept holding on to what Mike said to me. I just kept holding on to what Mr. Washington said to me. I kept holding on to my mother saying, you're special, Lizzie. When they said, you're educable mentally retarded. Mama didn't know what that meant. She only had a 3rd grade education. So she said, he'll be all right. Hard head makes a soft behind. He'll be fine. But she said, you're special, baby. You are special. And they kept saying that over and over again. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And so here's what I want you to do. Let us stay together. As you think about your goals and your dream, let us stay together. If it's possible, together please. It's possible. Say it like you mean it. It's possible. Thank you. Write that down. See, most people never achieve their goals because most people suffer from possibility blindness. They look around trying to think about the things that they don't have. Robert Roots, young man who wrote a book about success principles of the Three Little Pigs, he said, "It's not what you don't have, it's what you think you need that keeps you from being successful or happy in life. It's not what you don't have." See, I was focused on what I didn't have. Don't have a college degree, don't have any credentials, never worked for a major corporation. I was focused on the negative things. I said negative things are the things that you see when you're not focused on your goal. What do you come with? What is it that you have within you that you showed up to bring? Hey Les, you don't know, but my dream is a long shot. A long shot, friend of mine, Dexter Yager, said, when the dream is big enough, the odds don't matter. I'm reminded of a great man. When I was reading Time magazine, talking about some of the great minds of the last century, they didn't mention his name. Dr. Howard Thurman, one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and also an advisor to Muhammad Gandhi and Albert Schweitzer. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members standing around their bed praying with them as they cross over. But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the dreams given to you by life, the ideas that you never acted on, the talents, the gifts, the abilities that you never used. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large, angry eyes saying, "We came to you, and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever." And the question is, if you died this very moment, what will die with you? What dreams, what ideas, what talent, what leadership potential, what greatness that you showed up to bring, that you allowed fear or procrastination to hold you back? Perhaps that's why Henry David Thoreau wrote the words, "O God, to reach the point of death only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential." Repeat after me, please, with power, feeling, and conviction. I refuse to die an unlived life. Yes, shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, "Live your dream." Yeah, I think we should all resolve, I refuse to die an unlived life. Don't worry about the odds. You survived 1 out of 40 million sperms. You will never have those odds again. You beat those odds. You can win anything. Here's something else that stops most people. You know what it is, failure. Let us say together, "I will fail my way to success." Yes, write that down. I will fail my way to success. See, 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. 85% of people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. And I believe that the reason most people go so far in life and stop. Maya Angelou said it best. She wrote a poem. She said that most people go so far in life and then they park. They pull off the highway of life, especially when they get some hits, especially when they've been rejected, especially if they have an illness, especially if they lose something. They park. And I take it further. They don't even turn on their emergency lights. It's not because they are broken down. They don't want anybody to stop and say, "Hey, look here, I've got some jumper cables in my trunk. You need a jump?" Or, "Hey, look here, there's a service station ahead about 3 or 4 miles. I have a can. I can take you up there and get some gasoline." "Oh no, I'm just fine. I had a talk show once. Highest rated, fastest, canceled talk show in the history of television." Well, at least I had one, and I was excited. You know, when I came into television years ago, television was based upon conflict and controversy, so I said, I want a solution-oriented talk show, first concept of that kind. High ratings, and the syndicators said, "You just got lucky. Come on, let's do these other type of shows. You can be Jerry Springer." Oh no, that's not why I came here. No, I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world, where we should hold ourselves to certain standards. I'm not going to come here and sell out on who I am. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to lower my standards for you. No, that's not why I showed up. And so they fired me. Security walked me out. I said, I can walk by myself. But let me tell you what happened. I took a hit, and I parked. It wasn't that I didn't have the ability to do more. My concept was good. But what happened when I took the hit, when they canceled the show? I canceled myself. When they said the show is going to be taken off television, it won't work. I told myself, Les, you can't succeed in television. And I parked. You know what I did? I went back to my comfort zone as a motivational speaker. At least I'm doing better than most people. That's nothing to compare yourself to. Worse that other people are doing, and then make yourself feel better. No, I didn't have my emergency lights on. I didn't want to show up on the radar. I parked. You know how long I parked? I parked for 10 years. Do you hear me now? Unlike Regis Philbin when his shows were cancelled. He kept going. He kept going, he kept going, and he got other shows. I bet you somebody gave him a push. Somebody said, hey, you need a lift. I didn't even make that an option for me. I got off the highway. I went back to my comfort zone, and I parked. The show failed, and I identified myself as a failure. And guess what happened? One day, just flipping the channels, looking at PBS, and saw Wayne Dyer, my friend Wayne Dyer, and boy, I said, wait, we're both in our 60s. Wayne is still doing it. Wow, the little hair he has, it's gray. He's still there. I said, hey, I've got some more stuff in me. I've got another PBS special in me. I've got some other ideas. You know, opera, Phil, they're doing my stuff. Maybe I need to come back out here. And I went back and started calling people CBS and different people. They said, Les, what happened to you? I said, well, I didn't know whether or not anybody would be interested in me because the show was canceled. No, you had some good ideas. And when they said, yeah, we would love to do a show with you, I said, you would. They said, yes. And when I went into the studio, and people I'd worked with 10 years ago, they were still there, I said, guys, you know, do you guys still have it? They said, we have it. Do you have it? I said, I think so, and I did the show. And I wasn't as good as I was 10 years ago because I was off the highway. I'd gotten off the highway of life. I'd been parked for so long. It's taken me some time to get my strength back, to find my power, to get my confidence back. But at least I'm back out there in the game, determined to dry empty. So I say to you, see, I only attract millionaires, or millionaires in training. You're going to get that in a minute. You have something special. You have greatness within you, and the only reason you are here. You are my assignment. You can feel me. Some of you feel me right here in your heart of hearts, and my goal is to get past your mind and into your heart. So it's necessary that you have the mindset that I can do this. You've got to begin to believe and to fortify that belief and feed that belief by listening to tapes, going to seminars and workshops, by challenging yourself, by stretching yourself. It was Osborne who said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. And as you begin to challenge yourself, you discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. The other thing is you begin to look at yourself, look at your dreams, and begin to experiment and stepping into your greatness. One of the things that's very important, whatever goals and dreams that you have, repeat after me, please. Make your move before you're ready. Price Pritchett, who's a great motivator and trainer, said, Make your move before you're ready. We're instructed in life to walk by faith and not by sight. See, you want to really begin to stretch yourself. You want to become a risk-taker. You want to raise the bar on yourself. Most people won't do that. See, most people engage in low life living, low risk living. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said. Life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. And so you want to begin to take some chances. You want to begin to challenge yourself and make it okay to fail and learn from your failures. Don't allow fear of failure and the allure, the attractiveness of playing it safe in life to draw you in. You can't get out of life alive. You got to die to leave here. You weren't born to fit in, you were born to stand out. You weren't created to exist, you were created to live. So don't you dare park on the highway of life. Don't die with your dreams still inside you. The world is waiting for the gift that only you can give. So, rise up, take the risk, embrace the fear, and above all, live your dream because you have greatness within you, and it's time the world sees it.